So we're here.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Brad, give us,
You want to roll in?
Yeah, let's roll into this whole situation.
Okay.
It is March 1st, 2019.
19.
I'm Brad Wells from ThankYouSurfing.
Christian Del Iglesia for a surf shop. We got
Ryan, Heavysides from Nomad Surf Shop.
And on the AV,
It's just Caleb from my house.
from my house.
and what a nice house it is.
I love it.
And this is the second year that we do this. This is the second season, as some would call it. And this is the
Season
second
2, episode 2.
of what we're doing here. And we're at
Live.
Nomad Surf Shop.
Wow, you're going surf flicks.
Well, we try to make it so that it's like, for those that are chiming in from whatever medium that they're chiming in, may not know what the hell they're chiming into.
Okay.
Like, you sometimes have to remind people, you're like, yeah, this is what we're doing, and this is kind of what we're
Where
getting
we're at.
into, and this is where we're at. And this year is a little bit different from what Brad and I were doing last year. We were doing something weekly, and we were kind of showcasing things that were happening within our local home break, from like surf to like stories to everything else. And then coming into this next year, we were like, hey, let's do it monthly. Let's make it quality. I mean, not that wasn't quality before.
We were great last year, really.
But fuck. I mean, after every week that you're doing stuff, like, sometimes you feel like you might saturate something. So we said, hey, let's do it once a month. And you know what? Let's focus on what is the centralized homage, if you will, to what is of surfing in every coastal town, and that's a surf shop, right? The things that happen within a
brings
surf
it all
shop.
here.
Right.
Yeah.
It kind of brings it all to center, the people behind it, whether it's the people working it or the people that come to it or this community that supports it. There is so much of a story that could be told, and we wanted to kind of take the show on the road and tell that story. And we were stoked that you and your brother were stoked about having us come in.
Of course.
And kind of talk a little of that. Nonetheless.
Tacos and beer probably helps.
Right.
Yeah.
And so normally our format on a weekly basis was we'd talk about waves that were coming up and waves that kind of happened, local happenings nonetheless within that local community of what was going on. And then we would talk about a local happening, like whether it was an international thing that didn't have to do with surfing or something that did have to do with surfing that was more on the cultural side, or something that had to do with surfing that was more on the industry side. This was, in a sense, around focusing. Oh, phone's blowing up.
Wow.
Hey,
Blow
listen,
up.
that's what we do.
You gotta check the best practices.
Told you, get off the freaking Tinder. Sorry.
Nonetheless, it was about showcasing
New
all
town.
of
A lot of
the
hits. A
surf
lot of hits, new
industry.
town.
It's like you're in the area.
Okay.
Bing, bing,
We
bing,
got
bing,
you.
bing. Within 10 miles. Holy cow.
All right.
Hot commodity.
Keep it going.
Welcome. Yeah, well, but past that, we were stoked that we've had so much of a crowd around us that have been like, oh, that's kind of cool and what you're doing, and so we thought we'd spread it up the road and continue it on and share some stories. And God, I mean, I feel like surfers are some of the best storytellers ever.
Of course.
We're campfire storytellers.
Especially
Like,
Florida. Come on
seriously.
now.
I mean, how do we make the time go by?
Yeah.
In between swells or trips and stuff like that, stories of whether it's in the water or out of the water kind of keep us going nonetheless. So
Yeah.
Thank you again
No.
to you and your brother for having us here. You
Thanks
guys
for
are-
being here. Ronnie's here. Hey,
Yeah.
Ronnie, get a shout out in the background. He's going to come live. Don't worry. He's part of the deal. Come on. Walk over here. Give a double shaka. We're going to get a good interview with Ronnie in there, and we're going to do it, and we're all part of it. So let's go it. All right.
Well, let's move into it. Let's move into a little bit of the crux of what it is that we do. We talk a little story. We talk a little, jive here and there. Bradley, bring us into it.
I want to know about the first wave you ever caught.
Whoa.
Oh, wow. Going deep.
No,
Wow.
I mean, it should
when-
be like really easy to remember, right?
When did you guys start surfing?
So I remember my first wave. I had this special board. Pops built me. Ronnie colored it. Logos decked out. Aloe up. All sponsored.
up,
Looking
yes.
good. First wave went. Boom. Leash pulled off. Boom. Board disappeared.
You're like, sweet, I'm
Cried.
wave?
I
Amazing.
swear. I cried. I was like, oh, fuck. And then, boom, I went boogie boarding.
Way easier. You don't lose your leash.
I went from boogie boarding straight into, after that, like, okay, got comfortable. And then I say 8 years old, boom, dropped in couple little closeouts, and then it was game on.
Right.
But yeah, 5 years old was my first board. I quit.
So, you guys didn't start this. Not on your own.
No, Pops.
Pops started this.
Yeah.
Started this 50 years ago?
50 years ago. 68 was the start of the surf shop. And then, Grandpa had a TV repair store right up front over here. Gave Pops a 75 square foot little spot. 10 boards, round rack of baggies. You asked me earlier what baggies. Probably knee rash all day.
Yeah.
Canvas.
Birdwells,
Yeah.
Birdwells.
Yeah, straight rash. But that went from there, and then over here on the overhang where we are is like a pure oil gas station. This is where people are filling up right now, but we're here.
So he had
filling up.
75. He had 75 feet.
Fill the truck.
Your grandfather had a TV station, and this was still a gas station.
Yep.
Wow.
So pure oil for
Right.
sure.
But it was like the little like downtown. So you had like a shop there and a shop
This is the
there.
area.
Literally. Yeah. This is it. Like turn right through here. Yeah.
Yeah, turn that.
This is it. You come up right up A1A where you pull in. This is the spot. Fill her up.
So he started with just boards.
Yeah.
It wasn't clothing. It wasn't the
Well, just
business model
boardies
that
and
most surf shops.
The only two
kinda
things you
have
need:
these days.
boardies and a board.
Right.
Probably some paraffin wax at the door or something.
Yeah, definitely. And if you came off A1A, there's probably dirt roads, rock and roll bar out back. But when you came through here, it was full like 70s style. Like you filled up here, and then Nomad surfboards, TV repair store. That was definitely the spot. You know.
What I loved about walking through this spot was, more than anything else, the different compartments of the store.
Yeah.
The fact that there's just this area, then this area, then this area, then this area. It really bodes to what you guys were doing as just authentic. Like you guys were just growing along the way and creating these rooms, and it really is still that way. It's not as if you guys decided to like remodel and clean it all out and just do something you kind of kept it authentic.
Of course, yeah.
Well, it just happened organically, like room
Right.
to room to room. You're like, oh, we need more space. Well, obviously we're just gonna go across there, and then oh, we need more space than that. Let's go back there, and then you like snaked your way through this whole like couple parcels or three.
Oh yeah, you go up, it's jotty, it's all that, and you gotta turn the corner. But that's why it was spaced out. We grew over the years.
Well, like you said, it was a gas station,
Yeah.
a bar.
Yeah.
What else is back here?
People are checking in with Dante's Den over here.
Oh yeah, they're liking the Dante's Den, the full remix.
The remix
Yeah,
is right.
gosh,
But
they're going live.
but that's what I think. I feel like that's what makes it so much of an authentic place,
How did we miss it?
and it slows people down in the process of wanting to check you guys out. You guys are more than a surf shop. You guys are a place for surf culture,
Yeah.
and this is kind of why we've done this, like to highlight the spot in itself that represents the cultural, like not beginnings, but at least the outreaches of within every town.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely. I mean, in general, the stories that come out of it, it's not really like today's stories. You're gonna get like a story that you get from every person passing through when they stop. And you go, oh, Rod, how are you?
It's like a commerce story. It's
Yeah,
these guys are great. The engagement was awesome. The staff was
It's like
awesome.
a roadhouse.
The product
Like,
was
you come
going
through
on
like
and stuff like
on
that.
a wagon.
Right.
Yeah.
You stop in, you're like, oh well, there's these
I mean,
Indians up
if
on the
those walls
mountainside.
could talk, fuck, I would be like, "Yee, look out!"
Right?
I
You
wouldn't
might
have
get
to
a
talk right
semi
now,
in
yeah.
between, I don't know. You better
Might
watch
give you the
out.
penicillin
shit.
shot, too.
Good times. People are getting lit for sure, I would say.
Well,
So,
the shop, not this one. I mean, this one, as well as other surf shops, have changed over the years.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, things have kind of, with technology, we've seen it change drastically in the last 6 or 7 years.
Commercial.
yeah.
Right, like the way that people shop and the way people buy and stuff like that. I mean, what do you think has been the crux of what you guys do that has allowed for you guys to still be relevant, to still make it happen on a brick and mortar? Because brick and mortar is tough.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it's like the trouble of the internet.
Right,
But unless you own your own brand,
right.
they discount things. It's also like the brands that you've supported for years when they started here, and then they're selling to all the discount spots and all that. That's definitely gonna fight you. You gotta watch out. China, every surfboard comes out of China.
How do
now.
you combat that? What do you guys do to be able to say, you know what, fine, you guys are able to kind of shop that and stuff like that. This is what we do here. What do you think people resonate with?
Yeah, what's the difference?
That make you guys
Just don't buy boards from China.
straight up?
Cut and dry, you know?
Yeah.
Like my dad the guy used to pull up and he's like, what do you got, the egg roll model? Oh, you got the chop suey model, you know? It's like,
And
that's how it is. 'Cause
Right.
he was a shaper, though.
right, and that's what's great is that you guys you're deep and rich in the
Yeah.
surfboard building model. This is what
Yeah.
started you guys. You
Yeah,
guys,
because you're not a surf retail shop. You're a surf builder.
Yeah.
Other
first
guy
and
was a
foremost.
glasser. I don't know where he went.
He was over there. We're gonna go have to find him.
I think he's in the back of the
I
truck.
think so. We might have to cut for a minute and get him.
and that's where it started. And then you guys got into clothing, obviously, with other surf shops and stuff like that, getting into it
Yeah.
and whatnot. And it's a little challenging, but you guys seem to have a pretty solid community that supports you guys. That I mean, you guys like I remember when I was here,
made good surfboards.
great surfboards.
Yeah.
All the different phases and years of surfing. When boards changed, he still was on top of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Kept up with it quickly.
yeah. And that is really what
Shaped like
is
that
amazing about the
board,
community you
that
have
board.
around here. That was around that like you guys that your dad built off of that,
Oh,
and that
of
you guys
course.
continued and that you still have, and knowing that the customer changes, right? The
Yeah.
customer grows and the customer has opportunities to go ahead and purchase things differently. But there is something about being able to embrace the community spirit within the store because it's in you versus just like, oh, that's just the thing you're supposed to do. It's just natural. It's organic. It's real. And people identify with that and they want to go ahead and just help that and support it and make that happen.
It's a weird thing now that I see. Like, 'cause I'm an outsider of the industry. I don't own a shop. I just like hang out at surf shops, basically. And so when I see you guys talking about this, it seems like some of you guys have the ability to like pull in brands and pull in customers because of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then other times, other shops like work, they're just like, I'm gonna push you this shit, and you're just gonna sell it. You're gonna sell it to everybody that wants to buy it.
Yeah.
And then you figured out a different way to do it. Like, I mean, both you guys, in my opinion, have done
Oh,
that.
of course, yeah. Chris part of it, and the big part of it is like your brand is the biggest thing in your shop because people come there, they like you, they can high five you, they can do whatever they want to do, but realistically, they can get everything else on the internet. They can do all that. If they're there, they might buy something. But in general, if they pick up a First, they pick up a Nomad, that's only you get there. You're not going to find that, all over the world. So that's the special thing. And when you see those people do that, it's kind of cool because at least they're on top of that. Like, oh, like rad. These people are doing something, and they're on the program. Because there's like Marshalls, we're battling against that. All these people sell the low price stuff, and it's not really where surfing came from. Everyone's got to remember where you started. Like, we didn't start from selling stuff off price. We built surfboards, and then all of a sudden clothing came and all that.
But the all be all is who we are.
Yeah.
The engagements that we have and how it is that we present all of that, not just in the merchandising, to the product mix, but also to the engagements that we have and the things that we do.
Yeah,
That's what keeps us alive.
for sure.
That's the
That's
tip of
what
the
keeps us
spear.
going.
As I say.
Yeah.
It's like, that's it. If you don't have that community involvement, there is no culture. There is no anything.
Right.
There's nothing for retail to like hold on to sell.
Well, of course, all those guys started from roots as well.
Oh
it's
yeah,
cool.
for sure.
And they climbed. Everyone's got to climb. Yeah, you're climbing.
Right. Well, it gives you something to aim for, right? Like
Yeah.
even in surfing, what are you doing? You're dropping in, you aim for something,
here.
right? You're aiming for something to go ahead and either take a little top turn, you're going off the top
Yeah.
or
We got a
whatnot.
story coming in.
Let's hear it.
Since everybody's chiming in, one thing,
Okay, chime in.
Big Ron was good about was
Okay.
advertising everywhere. I was living in Miami, and it was in 1977. He advertised on WSHE. She's only rock and roll.
He's only 103.5.
That's right.
Yeah. I
And,
remember that one.
and he advertised the new Stinger Ben Ipa model, which is very much like that yellow board right there. And it was a single fin. There was no twin fins, no nothing. But he said there was a special, $150 cash would buy you a brand new board.
Yeah.
So me and my buddy jumped in my '69 Daytona yellow VW Bug with the Aloha surf racks on it. And we drove up the coast to Nomad on a Saturday. And Big Ron goes, we looked at him. He goes, hey, just take them out back and try them out. If you like them, you buy them. If you don't, just don't worry about it. Don't ding them. Don't run them into the rocks or anything. And so
Wow.
we came back and we got 2 boards for $300. And that was 1977. I was 16 years old. I just, so this surf shop, one thing about it, it's true to its roots. Ryan and Ron have carried this thing with their parents and adopted it, and it's an icon here. And the people that support this place have all kinds of stories just like mine that support it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, boys.
Yeah, Big Mike. Big Mike.
I want to tell you a story. I know one thing for sure.
Okay.
In 33435, my family's been here for 60 years, and the Heavysides and Ron Heavyside and Nomad Surf Shop has been the first people to ever come up with surfboards in this area. Literally, number one, they are the first, the originators. They are the people that everybody look up to. This is a family-owned business. This is a business that these people surf. These are real surfers. They get barreled. I mean, they're not just sitting there telling you what surfboards to buy. Both these boys are getting barreled all over the world. These are real surfers that run a real surf shop, and it's an honor to be here to tell y'all guys that. Just remember that, because there's not many surf shops out there like that.
You're right.
Literally, I don't know any other one. None. Not Ron John, not John John, not any other. There's none.
And not Don Juan.
Not a single one. These guys are the real deal.
All right.
And that's I'm telling you right
There
now.
you go. There is no better prop than that.
Well, we're high tide, not low tide. Okay, we're here. Okay, well, on subject, where's John John? I like
So,
John John's good.
so since what I guess this question almost comes in 2 forms. So what if you know what was Pops' favorite part about owning a surf shop, and then secondly, what's your guys' favorite part of owning a surf shop?
Wow, we're going in for the 2-for-1 deal.
2 for
Wow, Sizzler.
Little Sizzler special.
Okay,
Right here.
well, I think Pops just started off building boards, and the whole reason for surfing, when you build your own surfboard, it's pretty rad. You surf it, you ride it, and then when you can go into building boards that people talk about, where are you going to go with that? You're going to get people that are like, oh, that thing's radical.
Right.
So that whole part of it went from there, and then I think the retail side where you sell T-shirts, all that was Mom.
So yeah, he kind of let that happen because he figured, you know what, that has to happen, and here and there, I'll let her kind of figure that part out. That's not something I want to get into.
Well,
Dad was like into craftsmanship. He was,
had
if somebody was stoked about what they got, that's what kept them going.
Of course. When we get people now that come walking in, like till this day, they say, hey, I had this board in the 70s. Pin lines, single fin, Nomad logo, red pigment, and they name it to a T. It's like, whoa, okay. The guy must have it must have been, hey, second board. It must have been like that thing that like when you get your first remote control car, you launch it off the freaking ridge. Oh, love that thing, but so
Let's see what this
people
can really
had
do.
it, but then they sold it off, and but people talk about it like to this day, and that's what Pops is known for, is detail. Right. And then we went retail. We're rhyming here. Wow.
Yeah, there was a retail saying that what I was told long ago, detail is retail.
Yeah, fuck. Nowadays, especially. Everyone's looking at you.
Well, it's what it is. There's an emotional effect that comes into the retail side of things, right? But like talking about surfboards, even in that situation, you can understand that there was an emotional connection that people got with a board that your dad shaped.
Yeah.
Right, and that it wasn't like they could have maybe gotten that same shape from someone else, but there was something that your dad did within that board that created something that made it magical for them. But they were just like, oh.
Well, the best part about that era, there wasn't really, it was limited.
Right.
Now you're battling with everyone. So, hey.
Right.
Right now, we're battling with everyone going live. You know, what I mean?
yeah.
Right now we're not battling. You know, I mean, they weren't battling. They were like 2, 3, 4.
But there's a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the guys that make boards in Thailand.
Yeah,
They
for
can't-
sure.
And they can't come into this backyard.
That's a touchy subject, but
They can't come into this backyard.
Of course.
Because this is your backyard.
yeah.
And that is a beautiful thing about certain local surf shops, and especially ones that can go ahead and shape their own boards as well, because not everyone can do that. That's a specialty that you guys have that no one else has. Well, not no one else, but like
There's
most
still
other
other
people.
people,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, a couple boys now up and down the street.
For sure.
But nonetheless, like that adds to it.
It's a board shop.
Right. It's the
not a surf shop.
it's
It's
the
like a board
engagement,
shop.
and it's those specialties, because you know I've always seen that it's not necessarily the product that you're buying at a particular place. It's the place that you're buying it at, and the memories that you get from that place. So like if someone is going and putting a board together with you, there's a process that's involved in it. And that is the reason why they keep coming back, is the process. It's not the product as much as it is the process.
Yeah,
You know, and the thoughts that they
it's how
can
you
have
have to
from
put it
it.
together though, because if you try to just sell crap to somebody that they don't need, eventually they're gonna get bored of that crap and just not come back. But if you sell them something that they actually do need, like a beginner surfer, you're not gonna come and sell them a potato chip.
No.
I know you guys wouldn't do it.
No.
You would do the right thing. You'd be like, oh, have you surfed before? Let me take you out back. Let me show you a couple waves. Like, go ride a foamy. And, like, you teach them how to become a surfer, which is, I think, part of the surf shop thing. And that's how you make a customer for, like, life.
Of course. Yeah.
They want to buy boards from you because you help them the whole way through. Whether it be from, like, the pros that you guys have riding for you guys that are like, oh, let me get a 1/4 inch less on the deck, or, you know, chime the rails out in the back a little bit more, or whatever. I need a little harder rail in the nose. Like, all those things translate. It's customer service, but it's
Of
just
course,
doing the right
it's
thing.
actually the blending in every surf shop, because you have it, like, you know, Chris has it, you know, everyone has it. Like, you got to be part of it. You want to be, people come in to see you, but also it also has got to be like, you don't want the guy on your floor saying like, oh, cool, you rad, here you go, 5, 6 later, but you know, first day ever. You know, you don't want that guy. You want to make sure they are not going to just go out there and be frustrated, never, you know.
Right,
Maybe like,
and that's one of the things. Is like
Yeah.
you're not selling somebody just to upsell them, just to go ahead and make the sale. You're doing it because you're pairing the person, right? It's almost like those guys that are doing like the pairing of like food and drinks and shit like that. Where you're just like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and pair this blah 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 with the blah blah blah, and
yeah,
it'll taste amazing.
The best
And
is
we're
like, I've skied,
Right,
I've
right,
done. You're like,
right,
oh, okay,
right,
cool. Well, I
right.
don't really
So
want to
let me-
give you that. And
So let me go ahead and help
Yeah.
you out with that situation, is because once you're skiing and everything else, you're on your feet already.
Yeah.
So the whole point of surfing is getting to your feet, which is the hardest part. But so we know that your dad, in talking to you, some of the factors that he loved was that he was getting people stoked on it. So
Yeah.
since you guys have been running the shop for a little bit.
while. Ronnie's been here for a while, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Since I graduated high school. So.
What is the thing that you guys like the most of having a surf shop? I mean, there's a business side, right? There's the retail
course.
side. There's a cool side of like casually hanging out with people on the vibe and blah blah blah.
You
and
can do other
engagements.
things.
Yeah.
No, you
Right.
can make it
There-
work. You just gotta make it that it's the best, you know, and make it do what it's got to do.
Here's
you
a
know?
random question. I mean,
But
have
it's
you
like,
guys
you
ever
should never make money? And I'm like, dude, because you don't have anything in here.
have you
know?
guys ever gotten burnt out from surfing, or
Oh.
at least a surf shop and all that other stuff? Like, I know I ran
Surf
through a
shop.
small period
Yeah.
of a couple years where I was just like, I was running a surf shop and I kind of hated surfing.
Of course.
And it was the worst thing ever. And it was because it was outside influence, had nothing
Yeah.
to do with surfing. It was just outside influence. Granted, the fact that we just have no surf down there.
I think on that, can we go on a rum break? Can we go on a rum break?
I hear you.
You hit something? All right. So,
I'm working
well, you know what? We're rounding things out. Last question
What's up?
for all of this.
Well, it's a
Is,
double question, because there's a question followed by your opportunity to ask a question.
Oh, you're right. So this last portion. So a lot of what we were doing was that we're doing this monthly. We're talking to other surf shops. We're kind of like centralizing what is a cultural spot of each
Town.
coastal town and stuff like that, and that's a surf shop. We've got a lot of what you guys have to go on. I was the first surf shop a month ago, first surf shop down South Beach. We're working our way all the way up north. And from this question, it is my question to you, of which is it your question to the next surf shop.
Where'd they come from?
We don't know yet. Is that the question?
We don't even know what the next
could be the
surf shop is
question.
gonna.
You just
We don't
asked
even
it.
know what the next surf shop's gonna be. So my question for you,
Okay.
guys, are how are you guys dealing with the way that people shop online? How is your online presence?
Oh, that's gonna go like 45 different ways.
Sure, let's hear it.
We've got
because-
time.
Right, because that is my question coming from where I'm at. Is that how are other surf shops? And since you guys are my next surf shop,
Miami hot for online or what?
I think online is hot for online.
Damn.
And
Amazon
what you do,
Express or
all
whatever.
those girls online down there. South Beach,
Bikini,
shall
surf
find
wax,
you.
we got it.
what I found out by us is that we've been fortunate enough to stretch further outside of where we're at, so
course,
people
yeah.
want that, and they want to make that happen. So what I find as a surf shop is that having enough money for the private label
Yeah.
to be able to kind of make that happen and whatnot. And for me, a lot of what I want to do is be able to have my own printing capabilities in-house
Yeah.
to be able to go ahead and combat that.
Hey,
So
custom is
you
key.
guys seem like you guys do an amazing job on the private label side with surfboards and product and stuff like that. Like, is that the future for you guys? Because I've seen there's certain shops out there, West Coast and even some East Coast and Northeast, that all they carry in their stores is private label.
It shouldn't have been the future. It should have been the present, because people like telling their own story should have their own label. I mean, you guys first, your hats, your shirts,
Right.
you obviously have done it, but like to tell a story and not people have to go, oh, I'm going to go to like these other places and get Billabong. I'm going to get Quicksilver. They're rad. They started in the 60s. They're there. But for people to say like, all right, I'm going to grab this. I've been in that place or buy it online. I know that place. It's more unique, You're buying something that tells a story.
Right.
Other than all right, already everyone else has got it. So it's pretty unique to have like a unique product. We've done it since the 70s. I'd say 68 we started, but 70s is like, oh, people are patching on things, eating mushrooms, going, you gotta like wear the gig. You go in like that trippy thing. But now, present, it's cool that everyone's jumping on board of all the private label stuff, but we've done it for a while, but we're not going to be like, hey, we've done it. But it's so rad to see people say, hey, my kid is living in New York. I'm going to buy this shirt from there. I'm going to be from Miami. I'm going to buy the shirt from there.
I think it's a cool way to be able to have something that is representative of the town that you're at, right?
Oh, of course.
Instead of going to a touristy type of shop that says, Briny Breezes or any of that, or South Beach or welcome to Florida. You have something a little bit more particular.
Boynton Beach.
Boynton Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have something a little bit more particular.
But to walk in there, like, they want to walk in first. They grab a shirt. They grab a hat. It's rad. They walk up. They go and, they get on a plane. They go somewhere else and be like, oh, nice shirt. What, where'd you get it?
And I think that's both a testament to what it is that we're selling on top of who we are and what we do.
Yeah, you got to tell a
and the
story.
community that we get to create along those lines. And I think that, in a sense, is what allows for us to be able to combat the online situation in regards to the way that people buy.
Oh, we're battling.
When people buy something,
all day.
right.
Amazon Express
We're
or
not going to
whatever.
change that. But when somebody wants to be able to go ahead and embrace that experience or come to the shop, like that shirt that you buy at a shop and stuff like that, it's not the shirt as much as it is the moment that you had there, the conversation,
person that sold it to you.
or the person that you sold. So that, you might lose that shirt in a couple days. You'll know that you lost that shirt. But if you bought a shirt online, a couple days and you lose it and stuff, you're like, oh, you might not remember it till down the line. You're like, oh, this and that. But there is something about the moment that is had within the surf shop that really speaks so much more volume
For sure.
than what you're buying online.
And
I
the-
think
Well, because it's not a product. It's like everything else that comes with it. You guys are like, oh, you guys eat lunch yet? And they're like, oh, no, actually, I'm starving. You'll tell them where to go.
Yeah.
And then if they're like, oh, you're in town for a couple of days? Oh, yeah, dinner over here yet? You can check that place out. And, oh, have you been over to here? You guys like snorkel that spot out. There's like no waves for the next couple of days, and it'd be beautiful.
They walk in, they get all the info. Yeah,
And like
yeah.
you do it out of like the goodness of your heart.
Right.
Of course.
and like it's not part of your business, but people come back because of that. I think
Because of that.
The best part, yeah.
I
you
see
get-
that in your business. I'm like I can only assume that. Just
It's here
being
a lot for sure. Just having people walking around the corner, look at the beach, all that. But the best
Where's
thing
the
is,
reef I can snorkel at? I'm like, there's
You're a
couple.
good swimmer because it's a little bit up.
watch
Yeah.
out.
You're ready to swim, buddy.
But like I know we talk about like right now we're talking a lot about you guys, but Miami. Let's talk about it for a moment.
Whoa!
Right.
Oh,
You're gonna throw this
oh,
around?
I'm gonna
You
go
didn't
opposite
expect that,
curveball.
yeah.
We're going 8-ball right now.
right.
Hey, go high tide. Watch out, he's drinking your beer, but it's cool. So, surfing Miami pops up. The scene goes big. Everyone flusters. What do? You have a shop. You close the door, lock the door. I know here I used to put up a fucking like, oh, sorry.
surfing.
Hey, gone surfing, lock the door. What do you do down there? It's always,
You know,
you
yeah,
guys
you're
stay
right.
open.
It's one of those things
You
where
guys like
it's
make coffee and
right.
like make it open.
Oh yeah, don't lie. We cut
down.
rug.
right, like yeah. I think we'll cut rug the last hour of the day.
We're going.
We'll cut rug.
Get barreled.
We'll cut rug. We'll definitely cut rug the last hour.
After hours. Well, we're talking after hours cut rug, right, more or less. I should have reworded it. Lock the door, get barreled. So, Tell me.
We a few times we've maybe like gone and cut rug an hour or so before we close and whatnot, but God, it's so far and few in between. And I gotta say that the maybe because of that when waves do come, whether you're in the water or you're on the shoreline or you're in the shopping and hearing the stories afterwards, there's still an excitement. There's still an excitement through the whole process maybe for the fact that I've got to keep the lights on, that I'm not shutting the doors and I'm the guy that's not surfing as much as that I'm appreciating other people's stories.
Yeah.
I still get stoked.
Well,
I still get stoked.
That should
And
have been the question actually. Should have been like, hey, when the swell pops up, do you work or do you go surf?
Well, all right,
Yeah.
So
Will you watch the shop for a minute for me?
That's like the most crucial question of being a shop owner.
It's kind of bad because we try, but we open at 10. If you're not up at 6:30 and you're getting barreled, South Florida, say it.
It happens.
Okay,
You gotta be
good.
there. You gotta be
Yeah.
there.
It really
You
is.
gotta be there.
Actually,
It's true.
the wind might be on it by 10. So
Yeah, that's when you walk
I'm
in
just
the
being
shop and
truthful
come
right
going.
now.
I
So
hear
you
you.
might as well, if you get up, down patrol, get barreled, go for it. Don't drive in circles. First spot you look at, go out, get waves, because that's
Do it.
Florida.
Do it.
But in general, it's different. South Beach, when it's pumping, you better be there. It's
Yeah.
limited.
Yeah.
You have so many people. You get all this report. If you're not looking at it,
I mean, real quickly, on our last swell that we had,
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
like
of
the
course,
swell
yeah.
that everyone heard around the world.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on it? I mean, I know you didn't get. Did you get some of it? Not at all. Not by us. You guys were surfing up here plenty. I'm
I
sure.
surfed out back here. It
Yeah.
was pumping. I didn't go. I was like, oh, no, like 2 people
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Why am I going to go down
Yeah,
there?
I get that.
But still, and I was like, fuck.
How was it? How was it?
Should have I?
How was it behind here?
It was pretty good. Like peeling, you got barreled, but fast.
Right.
Because it's
sounds
weird.
fun.
You guys, when it's super cold and it's like this weird low pressure.
Don't tell too
Okay.
much.
Shh. Sorry.
Oh, it's
Okay. Well,
But you're pretty close to it.
checking it for a surf shop. We'll tell you.
Get the report.
Hey, Frank.
First surf shop. Sorry.
We'll tell you all
It's
about
closed
it.
out. There's guys in Speedos on the beach.
There really is.
Yeah, don't go down there.
I'm getting good waves, and I was like,
It's
what?
actually
Florida's
all
getting
true.
good waves at home. I'm like, what the hell?
Sorry.
Crazy.
But actually, world class. If you want to get barreled, if you can make the drop, because half the time, if you look at the Surfline cam, you see like 60%.
60?
I'd say 80%.
90.
90%. Okay, we'll go 90% making nothing.
Yeah,
And then
10% making
10%
it.
pulling in.
Yep.
So
Picture
True
board.
I'm
story.
sorry,
Go for a
I
head
said
dive.
it.
Yeah,
Look
no,
around.
it's there. It's there. It pitches. It pitches and it throws out. Like,
Yeah, it's not
like
your
it's no
average
joke.
day
You
wave.
know?
You guys got a little A-frame
You guys
down
have
there
the
for
best
sure.
sand in the world besides Hotel Chancletas. Sorry.
Yeah.
right,
True
sorry.
story. No,
All right, sorry, Shay.
I
Shay, I love
will,
you.
I will be second to the Hotel Chancletas any day.
Okay. Yeah.
Any
Chancletas
day.
doesn't have
Chancletas
Nikki
is
Beach.
like
I
South
know,
Beach
exactly.
in Nicaragua.
Exactly.
If they had the base and they had the
Frames
chicks.
off the chain.
You can bronze on the beach, get barreled, but you don't have to look at
Go
speedos.
across
So,
I-95 and have a really good time.
sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. It's good. You guys are right. Listen, before we close this off, before we go ahead and move on to the next segment, we're gonna bring this to another surf shop, whether it's IWS or it's Surf World or BC. Nonetheless, next shop's
Randy.
So right, yeah.
Hey, Randy, come on. Happy hour. I
Yeah,
want to
Randy.
see you. Come on, Randy. This is for you. It must be Randy.
I mean, questions.
Wake up.
What's the roast question? What do you want to ask him?
Right. What would be the next question I guess you'd ask another surf shop? So like I come from 10 years being into it. We're completely not a surf town per se by the waves, but we have a great community and stuff. So I have my particular question that I asked you. What is there a question that you would even ask the next surf shop like that might be within the lines of what it is that you do that you might say, hey brother, hey sister?
It's so easy. I mean, did we ask it on this list?
No, well, yeah.
I mean, you could
what's
ask
the question on the
anybody this question. You could say, hey, why did you start surfing?
Beautiful. That'll be the next question we ask.
Why did you start surfing?
Why did you start surfing, Oli?
All right, let's get out of here then.
Okay, sure.
Done deal.
Talk Story, Season 2, Episode 2, live from Nomad.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
We got
you.
the Heavysides.
Thank you, surfing. You got the heavy
Before
sides.
we go out, let's do a shot on that one.
We got all the Briny Breezes hanging out. Cheers.
Hey, guys, this one is for Dad.
That's
Yeah,
mine, I
Dad.
guess.
I'm going to say, hey, Ron,
What?
love you.
Love you, Dad.
Yeah, love you to the thing. As you would say, you can't take it with you.